If you work in a small scale in polymer clay, you may have found it difficult to find cutters that are the right size for the work that you do. If that's the case, I have a set of tools for you today that you are going to love. They are micro circle cutters and they're awesome. Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at KeepsakeCrafts.net. So this is a set of micro circle cutters. Samantha from Jessama Designs kindly sent these along to me to use and play with and let you know what I thought about them. And I think they're terrific. I work in a very small scale in polymer clay doing miniatures, fairy garden things. And actually this set of Kemper cutters is the smallest that I've been able to find. And here's the round. This is 3/16 of an inch. And you can see that it falls in between the two largest of these cutters. And there have been so many times when I have wished for little bitty cutters, like this one that does a 1mm circle, which is just amazing. So although I will never give up my set of Kemper cutters, because these are fantastic, these are now one of my new favorite tools. So what they are seamless, which is another wonderful thing. Seamless tubes with a little plastic handle. These cannot go in the oven to be baked, and also you don't want to put them in the dishwasher. So what can you do with these cutters? Well, of course, you use them to cut circles. Fantastic. Sometimes they will get stuck in the cutters, which it doesn't seem to be doing now. Let me try a different one. Nope. They're all cutting perfectly. All right, let's try this one. This little 1mm. Okay, that one's stuck. So you will need something to get the clay out. What I love to use is a doll needle. It works for all the sizes. It gets out the 1mm plug. And this, by the way, is a great way to roll little tiny balls. Have you ever tried to roll a whole bunch of little tiny balls that you wanted to be the same size? Well, this is a fantastic way of doing it, because there you go. A few different ways I would use these. For the little tiny ones, I'm probably not going to be counting on getting really perfect tiny circles cutouts out of clay, just because of having to push them out of the tube is going to distort them. For the bigger ones, these are pretty good, and if I rolled my clay to a thinner setting, this is on the thickest setting of the pasta machine, I could certainly get nice flat little dots to apply to a project. I think more often for me, what I would be using these for is for this, to get the negative, to make holes. And another fantastic thing about this that you can get really close margins, so you can make circles in circles. You can get these great little donut shapes. If you cut like that, grab one of the smaller ones for the middle. And if you're going to do this, you'd want to start with the outside first so that you can see to center them, if you want them centered. Of course, they don't have to be. So you can get these really narrow little rings of clay. Also, you can do what I just did there and use them for texturing, which I think is something I would probably use more than anything. And if you know my work, you know I love to make dragons. So let's make dragon scales. And what's fantastic here is these are pretty big, but what if you want to make a little itty bitty dragon? Well, there you go. If you want to change the scale of the scales as you're going to different body parts, like the main body might have bigger scales and then the legs and face might have little ones. Mermaids, fish, and you can also make patterns. And get really beautiful tiny textures. A few other things you can do with little bitty cutters is, wrong tool, is dip them in mica powders and then press them onto your clay, and you get lovely little circles of mica powders. Now these are truly tiny. I mean, really, really small. This is the smallest one, and I can absolutely imagine losing these and not being able to find them and being very sad. So I am going to show you how I made a little stand for them. Actually, this was my first attempt, which didn't work out great because you cannot bake these. So when I pulled them out of my little stand, which I thought was very cute, being kind of circular and then having all the others around it, these little plugs distorted. You could see on this one I tried using a craft knife to cut out the stuff on the inside, and that was just messy. So I went for a different design. And you can do this any way you like. This is just what I came up with. I've got a blob of scrap clay. This is that horrible, horrible Arteza clay. And I just use it for scrap, for things, because it's just sticky and really awful to work with. You do not have to texture it. It just makes me happy to have a texture on it. That's all. So here's a texture. I'm going to line up my pieces by size. And just to tell you about the sizes, now I measured them, and I actually put the measurements on here. I'll show you more about that in a minute. But these are the outside diameters. And then I realized right before I went to record this video that Samantha put the inside diameters for you on the listing. So this has an outside diameter of 5 millimeters, an inside diameter of 4.5. This is 3.4, 2.8, 2.3, 1.7, 1.4, 1.2, and 1 millimeter. And you wouldn't think that 0.2 of a millimeter would make that much of a difference, but you can see it because it's 20% larger, actually, and 0.4 of a millimeter. You can definitely see the difference. Not even 0.5 millimeter bigger, but you can really tell the difference. So I'm going to put these in the order of size. This will also help me later on as I'm working. I love that they're all different colors too, so eventually I'll come to know that the orange one is the 1 millimeter. I just rolled out kind of a slab of clay, a block of scrap clay, and I am going to push my cutters in all the way to the bottom, to my tile. And you don't have to do a straight line. You could make them in a like 2 rows, but I think it'll be easier to grab them if they're all just in a straight line, because if they're next to each other your fingers are going to be too thick and get in the way. Alright, I am thinking that my slab of clay here is a little too thick, so I think I'm going to redo that. Okay, so I redid that. I rolled out my slab of clay to around 8 millimeters thick, about 3/8 of an inch, and then textured it. By the way, the only purpose for the texture is aesthetics. I like organizers and holders and tools and things that look nice. It just helps me as I'm working with them. Next, I'm going to cut this out, and I cut this on a bit of a curve just because I felt like it. You want to put your pieces into the clay first. If you want a neat appearance, you want to put your cutters into the clay and then cut it out. That way your edges will be nice and neat. And I'm just going to get cute here and make them not straight, but at an angle. And now give your pieces just a little bit of a wiggle. Just kind of rock it in a circle. Just a little, not too much. You just want to be able to get your cutter back in there after it's baked, because you can't leave them in there while they're baking to hold their place. And if the plug stays in there like it did for this one, it's fine. You can take it out after baking. And just make sure, let's see, which one is that? that you're able to get your pieces in there. Now leave this on the tile just the way it is and bake it. This is more than 1/4 of an inch thick, so I'd probably give it 45 minutes. Here's my piece out of the oven. And now we'll see if these all fit. If they don't, you can, of course, come back in with a craft knife and clean up any areas that maybe need to be enlarged. So far, so good. So to sum up, what would I use these for? Well, naturally for cutting tiny circles, for getting consistent, very small scale amounts of clay, and of course for all kinds of wonderful tiny textures. So that looks good. I think I might want to trim out, oh yeah, that one just a little bit with a craft knife. This is why I wanted to do this in 2 stages. First getting the holes in there, and then I'll add the bottom, and that way, I'm just going to stab this through so I can see where to cut on the other side. And that way I can pick this up and move it around. I don't want just the open holes. That's right, this was the one though where the plug of clay didn't come out. There are probably lots of different ways that I haven't thought of to make a holder for tools like this. Feel free to share your ideas in the comments below. Help each other out, maybe improve. Probably you will improve on my design. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. By the way, while my holder was baking, I spent a little quality time with these cutters and a pipe cleaner cleaning out the clay, because normally you wouldn't jam this end in to cut circles, although you could, but the clay gets stuck in there. So for all but the 2 smallest cutters, a pipe cleaner worked great, getting all the way to the other end. And even for the smallest one, I was able to get that into this end and kind of clean it and get that blue clay that was stuck in there out. So now we'll take these out one more time and add a base. I'm going to add a base, and at the same time I'm going to add markings that will tell me what sizes I have. So I am going to cut on only 3 sides at the moment. And I probably should have added some liquid clay between this and the bottom. But this Arteza clay is so sticky, I probably don't need it. Just going to fold this edge up, kind of mark it, bring it back down, and cut it out a little outside the marking. By doing it in these stages, this is how I managed to have it be nice and neat. So now we'll just fold that up, press it neatly, and I'm leaving it on the tile. I'm not going to pick it up off the tile again until it is all baked. Use your clay blade to just trim this edge as neatly as you can. I've got a texture here, so we'll see how neat I can get it. Oh, not bad. Kind of just lightly round it. So we'll clean all that up before baking so that it's tidy. Now what I'm going to do is take a set of letter and number punches and add the inside dimensions. As I mentioned, I have the outside dimensions that I took on this one, but really what I would prefer to have is the inside dimensions, and those I got from Jessama's listing of this, which I will link below. I'll link all the products I've shown here, by the way. So that was 4.5 millimeters, so we need a 4 and a 5. So I'm going to just do 5 and the 4 take my awl and make the decimal point. Sort of. That was a messy decimal point. And repeat to add the dimensions all along here. Notice I did them on the wider end, so I'd have a little bit more room to add them. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot. To make these easier to read, you can go over them after baking with a Sharpie and go in there and make those numbers a little bit more visible. Happy creating. Bye-bye.